The kitchen table has turned into a news desk. We have a major announcement before jumping into today's episode. We are doing our first ever live podcast event October 30th at the Franklin Theater. We're joined by a very, very special guest, one of our favorite Southerners, Sean Dietrich, aka Sean of the South. And if you know Sean's work, then you know this is going to be a night of songs, storytelling, and the nostalgia that blesses our heart immensely.
Yes.
We're going to get to interview Sean and discuss his new book that releases this fall.
And we get to do all of this at the historic and beautiful Franklin Theater. And we've set up a pre-sale link for y'all to grab tickets right now. The tickets actually go on sale to the general public this Friday, September 2nd. But if you click on the pre-sale link in the show notes, we invite you to go ahead, purchase those tickets, and join us for a wonderful special night.
It's going to be so special, and we want you there. Again, tickets are available for you listeners now because we wanted you to get to have the first dibs on that.
That's right.
And we will open it up for public sale on Friday, September 2nd.
Fall is starting to peek in with cooler morning temperatures. And you know what that means? Football. Here in the South, we love our football. But some of our battle cries are a bit unusual. Join us at the table as we discuss the backstories of a few of those battle cries. I'm Lainey.
And I'm Laura Beth, and we are Steel Magnolias, the strength of steel
With the grace of a magnolia.
We are here to have uplifting conversations about life in the South.
And we've got plenty of room at our table, so pull up a chair.
Welcome back, y'all. Hope you caught our special announcement on the very, very front end of this episode. If you didn't, rewind back and listen because we have a very special live event that we're excited to tell you guys about. We just can't believe it's happening, but it is. So we want you to be there with us October 30th. Okay, before we get started, I would love to thank our sponsor for this episode. They've been with us all month. Big thank you to Tennessee Woodworks. They are handcrafts makers of custom farmhouse style furniture, from cutting boards to tables to bedroom furniture. They've got it all, and you can go check out their selection at TennesseeWoodworks.com. We just thank them so much for their support of this show. All right, we have a topic that's very seasonal, right?
That's right.
We love getting us some college football discussion in. We've done a ton of episodes that somewhat tie into college football.
Yeah.
So
if you haven't listened, you should go back and listen to them. They'll get you all fired up for the football season.
Yeah. I'll link to College Football Traditions. That was back in 2019.
Wow.
That was still one of my favorite episodes
favorites
that we did.
We did marching bands and majorettes.
Uh-huh. And then we did one on tailgating in the
Yes.
South, which was all football tailgating. So those are three shows that if you're just wanting to get back in the mood of college football season, go ahead and start with those. But yeah, as you mentioned in our intro, some kind of peculiar sayings or lines that have chants even that have come out of.
I mean, we love to cheer on the Vols, and they have a song, Rocky Top, but pretty much the battle cry is Go Vols Go.
Go Vols Go, short for volunteers.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So that's not unusual. But there are some that it's like, what the heck is that?
Right.
That's not their mascot. What does that mean?
What does that mean? Yeah.
So let's dive in.
Okay.
To those. And I guess to start, do you start with the one that the whole darn nation knows since they've been powerhouse for so long? And that's Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Yep. They always sit in that number one seat a lot. So yeah, go ahead and start with them, I guess.
Start with them. Well, as this story goes, and many of these, as I was looking into them, the story's a little unclear on how this stuff gets going.
Agree.
Have you found that?
Yes.
So, anyhow, this is what I read. Auburn was a heavy favorite to win a game. This was back in like 1907. The
Wow.
Iron Bowl, as they
Yes,
call it.
yes.
The Auburn, Alabama game. And apparently that year, they were playing in pretty muddy conditions.
Okay.
The teams ended up in a 6-6 tie. Alabama left the field covered in red mud, and Hugh Roberts, who was a writer for the Birmingham Age Herald, used the term tied in reference to this because he said Alabama left the field covered in red mud and that they appeared like a crimson tide.
Oh.
So hence you've heard that
Yeah.
phrase before.
Yeah.
Well, from there, still, really unclear about this roll tide thing.
Yes.
But apparently, there was a contest in May of 1926. The student magazine called the Rammer Jammer had a contest for a new unofficial fight song. The winning tune was called Yay, Alabama, and which in its modern, this is just, they include this roll tide in the song. Now, apparently the original sheet music just had go, roll to victory.
Okay.
But somehow this has morphed into the roll tide, which...
Some of these are like nicknames. It's like, I don't know. It was this, and then it just all of a sudden it was
changed
this.
to that. But isn't that kind of how nicknames go?
Yes.
Like you think about
they morph.
your Laura Beth, which was LB
Yeah.
later to some, and then it even got turned into Pound Cake at one point, like LB.
Short. That's the abbreviation for pound. Yeah. And what rolls off your tongue out right after the word pound? Cake. Pound cake. It's not that I was a lover of pound cake, but
That's how these things happen, is my point.
Yeah.
So,
Although I am a lover of pound cake, actually.
so the whole nation has
Roll
heard
Tide.
so much Roll Tide.
So you'll
And
hear it at the game. That's how it's like a hello. It's a goodbye. It's a
Roll Tide.
It's a chant. It's, yeah.
And it's been quite a dominating force for way too long, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, another one that's a little unusual comes from Texas A&M, gig 'em.
Oh,
And
do
it's
tell.
usually said with a thumbs up, gig 'em.
Yes.
So this is a phrase that dates back to 1920. The term was popularized by P.L. or Pinky. There's another nickname. Pinky Downs, who was a member of the Texas A&M Board of Regents in class of 1906. And that is when Downs asked the crowd at a yell practice. Now, we've talked about yell practice on our traditions episode. That's the midnight at the night before, a tradition that they do
Pep
there.
rally, if you will.
Yeah. So at the yell practice before the 1930 TCU football game, he says, "What are we going to do to those horned frogs?" And then improvising, he borrowed the name of a sharp-pronged frog hunting tool. Never would have known this.
I didn't know this.
A sharp-pronged frog hunting tool called a gig. So answering his own question by saying, "Gig 'em, Aggies."
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because they're the Aggies. So for emphasis, Downs made a fist with his thumb extended straight up. So like kind of gig 'em, like you're like, yeah. That's and
that
it's
is
stuck.
so funny.
So that's what they say, gig 'em or gig 'em Aggies.
And then people do this now
Yeah.
to each other, right?
for sure.
Gig 'em Aggies, like with the hand motion.
Yeah, yeah. It's also like a greeting or like a
it.
chant during the game or
Well, since you mentioned the TCU horned frogs, I just have to say, first of all, that is such a funny mascot. Mm-hmm. I didn't look into the full story of this, but I know they say fear the frog.
Fear the frog. That's so great.
So that's pretty cute too.
Oh, I love it. Okay, where should we go to next? There's
I'm
still
sorry.
there's still some weird ones.
I just love this. Woo Pig Suey. I think it is so funny that the Arkansas Razorbacks do this chant.
I wish we had Bobby Bones on here with us right now to do it for us because he's a big Arkansas fan.
Oh, well.
What does that even come from?
So it's known as the worldwide as the hog call, a proper hog call. Okay. So you do it 3 times. It has to be done 3 times.
Yeah.
Slowly raising one's arm. You're do your arms up. I'm trying to do it. And almost like...
oh, yeah, like the wave.
Kind of like how you're doing the wave. Exactly.
Yeah, but with like spirit fingers.
Spirit fingers, and you do the woo on that part.
Yeah.
And then you pull it, do the pig suey.
Yeah.
But you'd have to do this whole thing 3 times.
3 times.
And I've seen that quite often in, their football games.
Oh, yeah.
And that's such a cute little full hog call, as they call it.
That is hilarious.
They are the Razorbacks, so it just kind of goes along that you do
proper
a hog call.
Hog call. Well, let's talk about one closer to home, right here at Vanderbilt University. They say anchor down.
Yes, they're the
Anchor down.
Commodores.
So so in nautical terms, an anchor obviously is thrown down to prevent, the ship from moving. But an anchor can also be a person or an object that can be relied upon for support, stability, or security. So the Vanderbilt football team began using the anchor as a symbol of strength and support in 2004 under head coach Bobby Johnson, because he wanted the anchor to symbolize unity and strength throughout the program.
I like it.
And backing up even further, the reason he would have chosen a nautical symbol is because Cornelius Vanderbilt, who was known as the Commodore, was the one that made the $1 million gift that founded Vanderbilt University back in 1873. $1 million in 1873. That's right. And he wasn't actually a naval officer.
Oh, okay.
He traded a lot by ferry, and actually other sea captains and naval officers, I think they were kind of jealous personally of his eagerness in the trade and how well he was doing. So they called him the Commodore in jest, and it stuck.
How funny.
So anyway, that's why even the symbol of, because there's other symbols out there that would be, unity and what the football team was wanting to convey. But
they went with the nautical.
Since they're the Commodores from Cornelius, that's what they went with.
I like that.
Anchor down.
All right, back in Alabama, we have War Eagle.
War Eagle. Oh, my gosh.
Back to the old Iron Bowl game again.
Those Alabamans.
I know. They're serious about their football. Well, the most popular legend about this battle cry dates back to the first time Auburn actually met with Georgia on the football field.
Okay.
In 1892.
These are crazy dates.
I know. So, apparently, there was a Civil War veteran in the stands that day with an eagle that the old soldier had found on a battlefield during the war.
Oh, my goodness.
He had kept it as a pet for almost 30 years. Okay, so the story goes, according to witnesses, the eagle suddenly broke free and began majestically circling the playing field. As the eagle soared, Auburn began a steady march toward the Georgia end zone for a thrilling victory. Elated at their team's play and taking the bird's presence as an omen of success.
Oh, for sure.
Auburn students and fans began to yell War Eagle to spur on their team. But this is where I'm like, oh, we'll have to turn this around to make this an uplifting conversation.
Oh, okay, great.
At the game's end, the eagle took a sudden dive, crashed into the ground, and died.
Are you serious? They leave that part out, I'm sure, a lot.
So, but that's where apparently this war cry.
So this guy had this eagle for 30 years.
And then takes it to the game
So he
with
takes
him?
it. So I'm just.
I don't know.
I'm
just telling you.
I know, but now I'm really curious. Did he take this bird everywhere?
Yeah, or was it like, let's take the bird out?
Or
he needs some fresh air.
Was this like, was this even him trying to be like, I feel like this eagle should be their mascot. I mean, this bird is amazing. I'm just going to take him to the game.
They're the Tigers, but I'm going to make it.
I'm going to see what he's got and just see if there's any, sort of favor or something that lines up at the game. That's crazy.
That I don't know. But I do know, because I've been to a game there, if you get there 25 minutes before the kickoff, you get to see this happen, where they let the
because now they've trained them.
Bring it back in. But yeah, this is supposedly the story of where this was birthed and the cry became.
It almost reminds me of the Peabody Ducks, right? It just kind of was this thing where they put some ducks that
And
were
they just ran with it
wild,
forever.
wild decoys in the hotel lobby fountain, and now they're still doing it.
Yeah,
100 years later.
Over 100 years later,
Yeah.
they're still doing it. So, anyway, there have been 7 other eagles since that. That doesn't seem like very many. They live a long time, don't they? That have served as the symbol of Auburn spirit.
Wow. They're proud of it too.
Oh, they love to say that.
Yeah. Again, like a greeting. It's a hello, right. It's a goodbye. It's heard during the game. It's an all-inclusive. All right. I know we mentioned on the front end of this that a lot of teams just say go and then fill in their mascot name, go Vols, go Tigers, whatever.
Yeah.
So there are a few, though, that I wanted to mention that they do a little different kind of spin-off or variation that, it's not necessarily a peculiar thing like some of these others, but it's worth a mention because it comes from something,
something in
fun.
Their history.
So University of Georgia, the Bulldogs, they would say go Dogs, but they spell it DAWGS, dogs, go Dogs. So this is yelled at football games, again, it's wherever you want to cheer it or chant it. But there is a guy named Gene Blue, quotes, Gene Blue Robbins. We love nicknames around here. He was actually a Maryland guy that started following Georgia football in the mid-1970s and apparently pronounced dogs in an unusual way.
Dogs.
His mid-Atlantic accent, he was trying to have a Southern drawl.
Okay.
Like it was kind of his attempt at sounding Southern, and it just made it sound more like go Dogs.
Dogs.
So that's why they decided to.
Their spelling.
That's
like
who I saw credited with the different spelling of dogs. And then LSU, Louisiana State University, they're Tigers, go Tigers, but they are, the go is GEAUX.
Yes.
For go, that comes from the French Cajun character of Baton Rouge, which is where they're at in South Louisiana. But I do hear people saying who dat a lot with LSU. Who dat?
That's a and Louisiana thing, isn't it?
You hear it around the New Orleans Saints as well. And I couldn't find a good story on how that came to be. So somebody needs to write us
tell us about who dat.
Who dat?
Who dat out there know about who dat?
Yeah. Exactly.
We want to know about who dat. Okay, well, I'll tell you, if you've ever been to Oxford, Ole Miss, it's inseparable when you're at Ole Miss. You're going to hear hotty toddy.
Yep, hotty toddy.
Again, kind of a greeting. If you see anybody in the colors in the logo, you say hotty toddy to each other. Again, kind of a mystery as to how this came to be.
I actually don't know anything about this one. I'm really glad we're talking about this one.
Well, I wonder, because I think when I hear hotty toddy, I'm like, I think of a hot toddy.
Right, hot toddy, a cocktail that heals.
Right, yeah. When I have a sore throat, hotty toddy, I need a hot toddy.
Yes. That's what I think of, yeah.
But there's no concrete answer that explains what it truly means. But some speculate it was developed after the Virginia Tech regimental band called the Heidi Tidies, derived from a cheer used through World War II, associated with the description of a warm alcoholic drink or a term referred to the perceived sentiment of the Ole Miss student body.
Okay.
The first evidence of the phrase being actually written out, it was then written Heidi Tidy.
Okay.
Appeared in the November 19th, 1926 copy of the Mississippian. And it had this cheer, which had Heidi Tidy, gosh almighty.
Okay.
Cheer. Okay.
I love that.
So, ever since the cheer with slightly different spelling in the opening line, it's been passed down by Rebel fans. And ESPN's Doug Ward wrote, Hotty Toddy is the spirit of Ole Miss, which extends much further than just the Grove and their athletics. It's just anytime you see one another, again, that greeting of Hotty Toddy. So somehow morphed from Heidi Tidy.
That's a weird one. That is. It's strange. But yeah, like we said, nicknames morph. These chants
That's right.
A lot of what I'm hearing is songs that included some sort of a line it got
Yeah.
extracted from. And then a lot
It is amazing how much reporters
That's what I was about to
have
say.
influence on things.
Yes.
Not just football things,
Yes.
but all kinds of culture things
Yes.
where a phrase will just, people will run with it.
Yeah. Some unique way of saying something, even if it's not the headline of the story, but it's
Yeah.
like that interesting way they reviewed something. Yeah.
The power of journalism
Yeah. I know.
sticks for centuries
It's so
in these
true.
cases, you know?
Yeah. It's so true.
So
I know.
That's pretty
this
crazy
is,
to
this is
think
centuries
about.
now.
Yeah, and their name still goes back to the first time it was used.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
well, we, of course, where we live, and we know the SEC better than ACC, or I'm sure they have wonderful cheers as well that are unusual.
Yeah, I mean, there's, gosh, I even think about there's Sikkim Bears at Baylor. I'm doing the claw like
Oh,
you
yeah,
do
yeah.
with that one. Sikkim Bears. There's Boomer Sooner, Oklahoma. There's Wreckham is Georgia
Georgia Tech. Yes, right.
There's
the heart of
more.
Atlanta.
There's more, and yeah, we did our best to cover some of the ones that
Some of the ones we thought were weird.
we knew or that we've heard the most.
Ooh, pig, suey. I'm sorry. If I was a cheerleader and they wanted me to wear a pig snout, I don't know. I'm saying no to that.
You're like, I look too cute in
I'm
my
not gonna look this cute. when I have a pig
20-year-old
snout
body to put a pig costume on. Yeah. Well, again, if anybody knows who dat, I want to know. I liked the way you put that. I don't know if I could replicate the way you said that so well earlier. And again, we invite you to join us here in our hometown of Franklin, Tennessee, October 30th for our very first ever live podcast event
It's
with
gonna
our
be good.
special guest, Sean of the South. He'll be doing his thing. If you've ever had the privilege of getting to see him, then you know exactly what to expect. But he actually hasn't done his whole performance here
in Franklin or the
in
Nashville
the Middle
area.
Tennessee area before. So this is really unique and special for us to get to have him coming.
And you know, it would make for a great friend night out, a good, fun, like girls' time or date night.
Date night.
He's a dude's dude. He
is.
bring your boyfriend, your husband.
He is. You could bring book club. In fact, like we said earlier, he's going
Make
to be
his book your next book.
talking about his latest release, which we just got a pre-release copy of.
I'm looking at
It,
it. I haven't
and
even opened it, but I'm looking
it's
at it.
called-
It sure is cute.
You Are My Sunshine. What's the little small part there say?
A story of love, promises, and a really long bike ride.
I love him so much. Okay.
But I believe I have heard him say before that his mom used to sing this song to him a lot when
Yes.
he was little.
Yes.
So I look forward to hearing
That's exactly right.
all the sweetness around it.
In fact, he'll probably share a little bit about that song. Maybe he'll even play that song with us that night. And I think he likes it because what I heard him say about this book is that song is a lot of people's like standard
Yes.
of a good memory or heartfelt memory.
I've sung it
So-
to my dog before. I'm not gonna lie.
I have too. I sung it to my black lab, and yeah, she was my sunshine. Okay, well, again, tickets are available for you listeners now because we wanted you to get to have the first dibs on that.
That's right.
And we will open it up for public sale on Friday, September 2nd. We hope y'all have a wonderful week. Lainey, peace be with you.
And also with y'all.